odd. After stealing an idea from totally not Zane Hinshaw, I've decided to do my own version of CD show-off thing. So, yeah, I've basically organised these CDs in the collection, mostly because today they pretty much got entirely wrecked thanks to a certain dickhead that I won't mention, but anyway. CDs are fine, I think, so fuck it, I'll show some of them off. Let's begin with number 1. Helmet, Meantime. Now, Helmet is an alternative metal band that I really think is underrated by a lot of people. I mean, when people think of, alternative metal, they think of things like, oh, Tool, man, the deepest band ever. Honestly, no. Helmet, fucking good shit. Paige Hamilton is a wizard with the guitar, man. Honestly, and, a lot of people would probably recognize Helmet by the song Unsung, which was featured on the soundtrack to Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. Listen to the rest of the album, man. Fucking good. Silverchair, Freak Show. For those of you not in the know, it is thanks to Silverchair that I am a pretty big metal fan, actually. Well, Silverchair, the first song off this track that I heard was Freak, and it was a music video on Rage that I heard when I was around 12. This, right here, propelled me towards, the metal side, then progressed me to Alice in Chains, then I discovered White Zombie, and it was just a complete curve around, and it was just like, wow, man. But put simply, I owe a lot to this album, and I love it. Silverchair, Freak Show, look at this little boy. Beautiful. Speaking of Alice in Chains, Dirt. I almost got it them bones. A still very good album. It's pretty much the defining Alice in Chains album, and if you don't have it, get it, because this album has a lot of sick tracks on it. Dirt, Hate to Feel, Angry Chair, my favourite track of the album actually. Words, already. Sick Man, Down in a Hole, Damn That River, all very good stuff. So am I, by the way, they were pretty fucking sick. Even without Lane, William Duvall makes a killer vocalist. Okay, Metallica, Reload, an album that not a lot of people like for some reason. Well, they don't like the Lows in general. And now that I think about it, not many Metallica fans actually like any Metallica albums past And Justice for All. Well, arguably the Black Album, but that's debatable. Anyway, Reload. It does, in my opinion, have a few sick tracks on it, though I think the best tracks were on Load, so this is kind of like Load's table scraps, if you want to call it that. Still, I do think that the best song on this album would either be The Devil's Dance, Fixer, or... honestly, and I know a lot of people disagree with me here, but I'd say Slither because, well, it's got a wicked guitar solo 3 minutes in, so, yeah, even better. Speaking of Metallica's Load. This has the better tracks. It's got Ain't My Bitch, 2x4, The House That Jack Built, my favourite track of the album, Until It Sleeps, King Nothing, Hero of the Day, Bleeding Me, Cure, Poor Twist of Me, Waste of My Hate, Mum Said, Thorn Within, Ronnie, and The Outlaw Taunt, which actually had a guitar solo cut out of it, which was pretty fucking weird. Silverchair, Neon Ballroom. The direction in which Silverchair had both punk, melodic, and bit of metal in there, actually. It wasn't metal in the sense of nu metal, but it was just thrashy as shit, though not in the traditional sense. This song was kind of the turning point for Silverchair. They went on a much more emotional route after this, because Freak Show and Frog Stomp beforehand were grunge, but this album is way more melodic and still pretty good. Yeah. Speaking of Silverchair's origins, Frog Stomp. Now, this is the... oh, shit, there's a bit of scratches on the back here. Anyway, this album was arguably their most metal album because it was heavy, it was raw, especially in songs like, I'd say Suicidal Dreams more melodic, but it does have heaviness to back it up. Israel's Son, Pure Massacre, Undecided, that's a really good track, by the way. And Madman, the instrumental. It's awesome stuff. Oh man, I'm gonna blow through this quickly. Let's move into some more metal territory. Damage Plan, otherwise known as Dimebag Darrell's other band, or the one he got shot in. Damage Plan is a band that, to be real with you, I really think needed a chance to blossom, because, I know a lot of people tend to view Pantera as Dimebag Darrell's best, but honestly, Pantera is something I'll get to in a minute, but, yeah, I honestly prefer Damage Plan. I like Pat's vocals, I like Dimebag's work more so than in Pantera, and this has a lot of good tracks on it, man, Breathing New Life, Newfound Power, Pride, thing, whatever, it's basically saying fuck you, I don't know why I bothered to censor it. Save Me, Cold Blooded, Blink of an Eye, Blunt Force Trauma, Moment of Truth, and Soul Bleed. Excellent tracks. Korn, Follow the Leader. I also have a vinyl up there, which I'll probably show you in a second. I think I already showed it, by the way, but anyway. This was also the turning point for Korn, which made them into, household name, biggest band in the world. Pinnacle of nu metal, kind of the Nirvana of nu metal. And, I think everybody's heard it by this point. Freak on a Leash, Got the Life, Children of the Corn, with Ice Cube in it, fuck yeah. All in the Family with Fred Durst, not a lot of people like him at all. And, yeah, it's just a decently good album. Pick it up. Now, Cold Chamber, otherwise known as the band that Des Fafara was in before Devil Driver. Cold Chamber is a band that's actually made a recent comeback with their new album Rivals. Go buy it, because I've heard some tracks of it and it's pretty good. Now, this album is something that I do love listening to, mostly because of the fact that I think that Cold Chamber has a certain groove to it that Devil Driver never achieved. Not that it was going to achieve it anyway, but hey, it's pretty cool. This album is as 90s goth as it gets, and if you're into goths and you love the 90s, this album is for you. It's got a lot of sick tracks on it. Loco, Bradley, Oddity, Unspoiled, Big Truck Sway, First, Maricon, Pluto, I, Clock, Frustration, Ami of the Desert, Dreamtime, Pig, and now, with thanks to the fact that this is a digipack, there are some bonus tracks like the Big Truck remix, Radio remix, Bradley Radio remix, I'm so sorry, and the Pig the demo version. It was mixed by Jay Gordon of the band Orgy for Swarm Productions and Jay Bahal. Sorry for falling through this. Yeah, get out of the way, you. Okay, Korn's first album. Korn. They had two albums like this. There was one in 2008, one in 1994. This is 1994 and it has Freddy Krueger on it. It's like dun 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 dun. Anyway, this album, perfect. Got a lot of good tracks on it. Blind, Ball Tongue, Need To, Clown, Faggot, Shoots and Ladders, Predictable, Fake, Lies, very good track. Daddy, which is ultimately, you know, Korn's most fucked up song ever. Even though I think that Mr. Rogers kind of outdoes in that respect. But anyway, good album. You should buy it. It's one of the definitive Korn albums, actually. Now to a band that's a lot more respected than the nu metal. The Deftones, Around the Fur. This is an album that you must get right the fuck now. Like, even if you don't like nu metal, like, I didn't even know this was nu metal at first, but anyway, even if you don't like nu metal, pick it up right now, because this album has got so many sick tracks on it. I know I said it a lot this part, but honestly, so many goodness. There's My Own Summer, which was featured on the Matrix soundtrack. There's Mascara, which is a pretty good haunting track. There's Around the Fur, which is also a very guitar-heavy track that I do love. There's Ricketts, very punky sounding track. Don't really know how to describe it. There's Head Up, which is one of my favourites, and there's MX, which has a hidden track in it, because, you know, a lot of 90s CDs had, like, hidden tracks at the very end of them, for some reason, I don't know why. Speaking of the Deftones, however, we have Adrenaline, their first album, which is, I really like it. There's not really too much I can say about it, but, has a good guitar sound on it, and, Chino's in top form. All in all, a decent Deftones album. Pick it up. And this is I think one of two nu metal albums that they did before they said, oh, nu metal's for kids. Lol, we're so advanced. We're like Tool, except not. Anyway, let's move on to bands that are loved by everyone. Nirvana. Bleach. One of my favourite albums. It has a very Melvins-y influence to it. It's got a very, well, ish. I mean, actually, speaking of which, fun fact, the drums were not recorded by Chad Channing, aka the guy before Dave Grohl. They were actually recorded by Dale Crover of the Melvins for some of the tracks. I think Chad only did, like, Blue and, Big Cheese, I think? Yeah. Anyway, I love a lot of the tracks on this album. It's got, like, Blue, Floyd the Barber, School, Love Buzz, Paper Cuts, a very creepy track, I might add. And it also gets Kurt Cobain to say Nirvana. Within Nirvana, oh my god, Negative Creep, Scoff, Swap Me, Mr. Moustache, Big Cheese, one of my favourite songs on the album. And moving on. Never mind, Om gets so overrated I hate it below. That's pretty much actually all I have to say about it. Incesticide / In Euro. I really only use this for Incesticide. Haven't really listened to this one so much, so fuck it. Okay, Nirvana, In Euro. Probably the first Nirvana album I ever heard. Fell in love with it. In fact, the track I first heard was Serve the Servants, and it's close to my heart. Serve the Servants. Oh no. Okay, I know I just came past Nirvana, but if you consider the fact that I wear the t-shirt in damn near every other video, in fact right now actually, yeah, it's pretty good. Anyway, moving on. Silverchair, Diorama, the album where they decided to go very art rock. Yeah. It's not really, well, it actually has two tracks that I would definitely recommend for you. And that would be One Way Mule and The Lever. They're both really heavy tracks. They're kind of the only ones in the album, but I will totally recommend them for you right now, because they've got some real power chord chugging, man. Yeah, it's awesome. Alice in Chains, The Devil Put Dinosaurs here, their latest album. In comparison to their previous one, Black Gives Way to Believe, this one is actually fairly decent, though I feel a bit lackluster, but then again, that's probably because I'm comparing it to their previous work, you know, during the Lane days. But it's still got some good tracks. It's got Hollow, Stone, The Devil Put Dinosaurs here, which has a pretty creepy music video. Lad Monkey is one of my personal favourites. Scalpel, Phantom Limb, and Choke. Good album. I recommend you get it just as an impulse buy. Now this band is... okay, Wolfmother. Without this band, I would arguably not be here today doing this video in the radically quickly style I'd be doing it. Because Wolfmother was the first I guess, heavy metal album, because again, and I'll probably play a little clip here, but listen to the opening riff of Colossal. That riff made me the metal fan I am today. I mean, again, I know a lot of people, especially Mike Patton, tend to piss on Wolf Mother by saying, oh, they suck, blug. But honestly, it's a pretty decent album. Like, if you're into, like, a very 70s-styled metal album, you know, akin to that of Black Sabbath and Led Zeppelin, pick it up. I know Led Zeppelin isn't technically metal, but fuck you. I don't care. Okay, Black Sabbath, the Dio years. This is basically a compilation of all the Ronnie Dio Black Sabbath tracks. I think it was released shortly after he died, which is pretty sad, but yeah, I like Dio era Sabbath. It's got some good groove. I mean, admittedly, I do kind of prefer the Aussie era, but well, it's definitive, but, you know, it's got a lot of good tracks. Heaven and Hell, Lady Evil, Neon Nights, Mob Rules, TV Crimes, personal favourite. And it has 3 new tracks as well, actually. The Devil Cried, Shadow of the Wind, and Year in the War. So I think it was recorded before he died, or maybe around about the time, but anyway, it's sick, good stuff, and doesn't have any cracks in it, because Black Sabbath is forever. And greatest hits of Black Sabbath, it's got your general hits here. It's got Paranoid, Iron Man, Children of the Grave, Never Say Die, Wizard, NIV, all that sort of thing. Oh, and it actually has the track Black Sabbath there, that was pretty cool. Oh, by the way, it also has Sabbath Bloody Sabbath on there. Right. During the live performance of Black Sabbath that I went to back in 2013, my first metal concert ever, yeah, they started playing Sabbath Bloody Sabbath, and like, oh my god, Sabbath Bloody Sabbath, but then apparently they just cut it short and started playing Paranoid. I was like, oh, sad face, and everyone was like, woo, Paranoid, and I was like, oh. Yeah, my story. Anyway, moving on to the next pile of tracks. This will get into the more, you know, this real metal, as a lot of fans tend to call it. Pantera, a vulgar display of power. Oh, it's so vulgar, I can't look at it anymore. Yeah, this is Pantera. Pantera is a band I'm quite bipolar towards. I mean, on the one hand, I do love a lot of their songs. I mean, you know, Bound for War, A New Level, Fucking Hostile, you know, By Demons Be Driven, and Piss, Walk as well. Yeah, my only real problem with Pantera is that they can never really tend to decide on what sort of band they want to be. I mean, there's times that they, you know, feel like a groove metal band, it's like, and then there's times when Phil and somebody just says, like, you know what fucker goes, I'm gonna be thrash metal, you know, and it's just something that really puts me off, because, like, if you're gonna go for a slow groove, go for a slow groove, don't confuse the tone with, like, you know, unless of course you're progressive metal, don't go for a thrashy tone. So, Pantera, decent album, bipolar. In general, and that could probably sum up a lot of my thoughts on the other Pantera stuff. Machine Head, Machine fucking Head. It's a live compilation of a lot of Machine Head songs, and it's a band that I do enjoy. I mean, a lot of people tend to critique Machine Head for just being a band of, you know, I don't know, I just don't like them for some reason. I haven't really bothered to check a lot of the comments recently, but yeah, it's got a lot of the good stuff, as you can probably tell. It's got Halo, Old, This Is the End, Locust, 10-Ton Hammer. That's one of my favourite tracks, actually. Probably the track I'll put over this video because I love Machine Head. Good. Good live stuff. Take that away. Okay, thrashy stuff. Metallica, Kill 'Em All. The only album where Metallica didn't suck. Well, I say that, but I'm really more so talking about the fans than anything else. The CD doesn't have that crack in it because Metallica is fucking metal. This has quite a lot of good tracks, actually. Tracks that I am still trying to cover to this day on lead bass guitar. The Four Horsemen, Hit the Lights, The Phantom Lord, No Remorse. A part of which was actually used for the theme song to Doom. Fun fact, aplenty. Anesthesia Pulling Teeth, I still cannot pull off for the life of me. I really want to learn how to, but I can't, because I suck. I will die. Okie dokie. Let's get into the more Slade things. Slayer, Diabolus and Musica. I love this album. A lot of Slayer fans don't, because, Slayer's the 90s and thrash metal bands suck. Honestly, fuck those people. Diabolus had some wicked tracks on it. The opening's a bit of pace, it was slow paced, but, you know, it made up for it 1 minute and 30 seconds in with a thrashy guitar piece, and that was, you know, good. It continues that trend with Death's Hand. Stain of Mind is also pretty good. Over Enemy kind of drags a little. Perversions of Pain, and it kind of just falls into the bad end. Then Desire kicks in, and things are good again. In the Name of God is good. Scrum is pretty good. Screaming for the Sky, I do very much like Point. Nah. So, yeah, ultimately, Slayer's Diabolus and Musica has a really good cover. I have a poster over there, as you've seen in plenty of my videos. I assuming, of course, that this is the first video you're watching of mine, in which case, hi. So, yeah, pretty good.